What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Heavyweight Nation podcast. And today we have the reigning back-to-back Pennsylvania State team champs, Faith Christian Academy, along with their coach, Ben Clymer. If you guys want to start, we'll start with Adam and work our way up to Coach Clymer. If you want to introduce yourselves and say something.
So I'm Adam Waters. I wrestle at Faith Christian. I was a sophomore this year and part of the great team we had.
I'm Gage Botero. I'm a junior at Faith Christian. I've been going to Faith Christian since the sixth grade, and I'm just a part of this great, not like amazing team. I love watching the team grow.
I'm Mark Effendi, and I'm a sophomore here at Faith, and I'm grateful to be a part of the team as well.
And I'm Coach Ben, one of the coaches here.
So I guess we'll open it up with this. How did this team shape itself into what it is now? You guys had one of the youngest programs in the history of PA state wrestling qualify for the state tournament and now win it twice back to back with a team made up of mostly freshmen and sophomores. So I'll give that one to Coach Clymer. What has that kind of been like, and how does that kind of attest to your junior high program?
Yeah, it's such a mixed question. I would say honestly, like as far as like how these guys are so good and they're so young and they're so clustered, like these guys have been wrestling together for a long time. Like they're all from right around this area, maybe just a little bit south of this area, and like they've been on club teams and wrestling for Contender Elite. Like you're going back 10 years from now, but like these guys have been running together for a long time. And so that's honestly, that's sort of like the genesis of how all these guys they're here. They love each other. They work well together. And just as far as like their elite tendencies as freshmen, as sophomores, like they've been grinding for a long time, and they've been on national level competitions for a long time. And so now all of a sudden, the state of Pennsylvania is getting to see them. And is really impressed, and so am I. Like the way they handle their maturity. There's a lot of people that like to talk about the program, some good, some bad, and they handle it all with such poise. That's just a testament to them being on the stage for a long time, and it is super cool to watch. So,
and I think anybody that has watched the Faith Christian duel, whether it be televised or in person, could say the one thing that you don't see compared to other dual meets is you guys shake everybody's hand. You shake the other team's hand, the coaching staff, the referees, the table workers, the guy holding the camera filming. What is that like? How have you kind of ingrained that mentality into them, or was that kind of something they brought with them over the years?
I is that for me or you want
That's
one?
for you. Yeah, that's for you. We'll start with you and then we'll move down.
Okay. I was gonna say these guys are good at talking. I would say it's both. They come from great families. They have great parents. Like they're not just only molded by the school or by the coaching staff. Like they have great parents and family units that have built into them this character. There's like 9 fruits of faith. It's kind of like 9 different Bible verses and character traits that we've made important since these guys were in middle school, and one of them is one of 10. It just speaks to gratitude. It's from a parable in the Bible of the 10 lepers. I guess it's not even a parable. It's just an actual story. But yeah, there's only one person that came back to came back to Jesus after he healed them and said, thank you. And so we always want to be a group that sort of recognizes how many people it takes to give this stage that the kids have. You know what I mean? Whether it's a practice or the school or a match, like it's not all about you. There are people that are sacrificing their time to keep a book or to announce or to like referee. Like there's just a lot of pieces to the whole thing. So we just constantly want to be acknowledging that and going out of our way to thank those people. We think that's how God wants us to act, and you don't see it so much anymore. So I'm really thankful that these guys buy into that, and it is something that they make important.
For sure, man. So I'll give this one to Gage Botero. Gage, you've since committed to go to Michigan, and you faced a little bit of indifference this year. So just kind of talk about how the season was for you and some things you're looking forward to your last year of high school wrestling.
The season was a very tough season mentally for me. Starting out, I tore my meniscus, had to get surgery, was out for half the year, so I was already like behind everybody. beginning my season, middle of everybody else's season. So I had to work extra hard in the room, outside the room, every day, just to become what I was last year, try to better myself. And um, I had a little bit of success. Like I escaped the rock, wrestled some good kids, and I put the hammer down on them. But at States, so it was just tough happening. I sprained my ankle wrestling and couldn't continue. And that's just a tough pill to swallow, I would say. And it kind of opened my eyes to like, I really love this sport of wrestling, but like sometimes it's not always going to go your way, you know?
And obviously, what was that kind of like for you battling through indifference? Last year, the year before, you were, a state champ, and then obviously you won team states that year. So talk a little bit about how that kind of was now coming into your last year mentally for you.
Um, I'm mentally much stronger than I have ever been. Uh, like, like you said, my sophomore year, I won states. Our team won states. That was very big point in my high school career. And then that last year, my junior year, not having the best season possible. And it just shows that wrestling is just like a roller coaster of emotions, and then you just got to keep persevering through it.
So one more question for you, Gage. Why Michigan? What was Michigan the end all be all for you?
Um, Going into the recruiting process, I didn't know I had a couple lists of like what I wanted in a school. RTC, great schooling program, and obviously great wrestling, and just like a team of like a very good team, like personality wise. Because I've been on good and bad teams before that have not been fun to be on, like with the personalities, but I've been on great teams like this one where it's like the personalities are great and just makes wrestling and life so much better. So when I went there, everybody was awesome. I liked the coaches, um, all very nice dudes. The kids were very good too, and obviously the schooling is amazing up there. So I just thought Big Ten was for me. Grew up in this wrestling mecca of PA, where all the toughest Malvern, Sem guys wrestling those dudes, the Lehigh Valley guys, and it's just been. I feel like that's my next step.
Awesome, good to hear. So we'll bump it up to Mark. Mark, you had your best performance so far this year, placing third at states at heavyweight. Obviously, we're heavyweight nation, so we got to go to you next. What was that kind of like for you getting, moving up the podium, and you have 2 more years of high school? Hopefully, you could capture a state title.
Yeah, it felt good. My goal going into the season was to be a state champ, but it didn't all go all my way. But to come back from not placing last year was really just like heartbreaking kind of. And I just like told myself that wasn't going to be what the goal is next year. Like I'm not going to let that happen. And I just worked hard over the off season, which was the biggest thing for me. I feel like the amount of work I put in over the off season led to a change in the outcome at the end of the year.
Awesome, man. And I think a lot of people, when they watch you wrestle, they think you're a little bit of a smaller heavyweight. What has that kind of been like for you wrestling those senior heavyweights who are a little bit fuller in size?
Well, Coach Ben here, he'll tell me like just stay on them, stay stalking towards them, and just putting the pressure on those guys. A lot of them will fizzle out towards the end of the match, so that's probably been the biggest key as well. Like just staying on guys and being persistent on them.
Sure. So then we're going to move down to Adam. Adam, as a sophomore, you've now claimed 2 Pennsylvania state titles. You have a chance to claim 2 more, making yourself a four-timer. What has that kind of been like for you the last 2 years, showing up at the Giant Center and just keep winning?
Yeah, these last 2 years of my life have been they've been great years. I mean, I've learned so much about wrestling, about Christ, and just about myself. I feel like I've I've grown a lot of character in myself as on the mat too. And I feel like when you're enjoying wrestling, like I have been here, is when you're gonna find the best results. Um, I love competing. Competing is my favorite part about wrestling. Like, I feel like when I train, it's just all leading up to my competition, and I train the hardest because I want to shine on that big stage. So it's been a great 2 years, and I'm super grateful for the results I've had. Even coming into this year, had a torn meniscus. Didn't start off my season the way I wanted to. But I sort of just built my conditioning towards the end of the season. And, in the end, it came out all right because I got my second state title, but it was a tough year this year.
For sure. And I guess I'll pass this to whoever wants to take it. Um, you guys really had an extra person fighting with you at states with your teammate Owen, who was fighting cancer. What has that kind of been like for you guys? And was that extra push that you guys needed to just go to the Giant Center and put the hammer down on everybody?
I'll take that one. So this year when Owen got diagnosed, it made us all very grateful for the opportunity to compete and that we don't have to go through that struggle that he goes through every day. So, it was sort of like, yeah, we have the opportunity to compete. We're healthy. We want to go show out for our guy Owen and put Christ on our stage and just sort of help out Owen through this all because he wasn't able to compete this year. He had to stop after Rage in the Cage. That was a tough tournament. He had to leave to the hospital, I'm pretty sure. And, it was really hard on all of us because we love Owen. He's one of our great teammates. And it sucked that he wasn't at States with us, but we were on that big stage for Owen.
And how is he doing? Is he how like just a little update on him?
Coach Ben, you want to take that one?
Yeah, I could take that. He I would say like the last 3 weeks, he's we're very good. Basically how his like chemo is going, he has like a transition period where he does chemo 5 days in a row. So he's down at the hospital and for 5 days he's on a chemo treatment and and then he comes off of that and he only goes down 2 days a week then chemo on Tuesday and then they basically just check his levels on Friday. So for the last 3 weeks he's sort of been enjoying that in between time and he's working out. He's been able to like keep his hair, which is not something very typical. The doctors are saying but just last week he had one of those 5 day in a row sort of transitional periods with his chemo and so this week he's been very nauseous and I think they do like an at home uh chemo treatment through a needle that his dad gives him and so he's last week, this week, and definitely next week will be hard for him. Just battling a lot of fatigue, a lot of the nausea, and but like honestly, Derek, he's been just amazing. Like this kid's working out. Like he's going to chemo, and then he's doing squats in the chair at the hospital. He's coming back and swimming in his neighbor's pool, and like his mind is so elite, and like the joy that still permeates from him and his from his family, like it's been an amazing encouragement to all of us. So keep praying for him. He's got another June 18th is a big date that we have circled. Um, they'll do a test to see if there's any cancer left in his blood. I think he had like 1.8% when they had checked it, a month ago or whatever. And so they're really hoping that it is at zero June 18th. If it's not, they may have to do some things a little bit more extensively over the course of the next 2 months. If it's where it needs to be, then I think they'll start to wind him down. But yeah, still a lot going on, but he's doing good.
And what grade is Owen in?
Sophomore.
Sophomore.
Yeah.
So he's got 2 more years left. I'm sure that there still is a chance that he could come back and grab a state title with you guys, which is awesome. That's awesome for sure. So I'll ask. We'll start with Adam and move our way back up to Ben. What are your top 5 wrestling moments of all time? Over from you being a kid, you all of you have wrestled at some of the highest level of competition. I know Adam, you've wrestled at world level tournaments and stuff like that. What's your top 5 wrestling moments of all time?
For my personal top 5?
Yeah, so it'll be your personal top 5, something that you did.
Okay, so I would say I love competing at the Giant Center and capturing those 2 team state titles was very cool. It showed like sort of companionship throughout hardship and I was very grateful to get that first and second state title with the team. So that will probably be number 5. Then number 4, I'll probably say winning the Pan American Championships. That was very cool. It was a great experience wrestling alongside some of the best dudes in the country. It was really cool to go down to Mexico City and compete with all them. Number 3, gonna have to say All-American at Fargo. That was cool with all my guys. The whole Faith team, like a good chunk of the Faith team, goes out to Fargo together, and we all just hang out throughout the week and compete throughout the tournaments together, and it's really a great experience. Number 2, it's tough. I would say probably when I was younger, my first PJW title when I was 8 years old. The U8 bracket, U8 90 pounds. That was my first like state title. That was sort of like what projected me to work as hard as I have to get to where I am today. And then I would say my first and second PIAA state titles. You know, they were electric with my freshman year getting that pin. That was one of the coolest moments in my whole life up to this point. And yeah, that's my top 5.
Awesome, man. Awesome. And I remember watching that freshman year in the finals, and you could see you're about to put him on his back, and I'm like, there's no way this kid is about to pin this kid, who is a Division I commit, like one of the top ranked guys in the country, and you put him on his back and pinned him in under a minute in the state finals, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was a great match, and Holden's obviously a elite competitor. He's a great person too. But that was the third time we wrestled, and I knew I needed to switch something up a little bit. So, you got to try something, because even if I get taken down there, I'm only down by 1 takedown. So, just got to not be afraid to shoot your shot.
For sure. So I'll pass it over to Gage.
So for my number 5, I would probably put the first time I ever qualified for PJWs, and it was such a big deal for me because growing up, I always fell short. I always took third, and they always took top 2, so I would never get to go until my 6th grade year when I went there and I finally placed. That was awesome. And then for number 4, I would probably put Fargo of when I took third in 2022. That was just the greatest tournament that I've probably ever wrestled. Wrestled a lot of top-notch competition, and it was elite, and that's where I like finally figured out like I belong on this stage with everybody else. I'm just like I going into the tournament, placed 8th the year prior, wasn't very good. No one talked about me. Flo didn't talk about me. Matt Scouts, none of this stuff. But going into it, I had fire in my heart, and I just wanted to wrestle. And I wrestled my heart out there and took third, beating off some of the best guys in the country. And then for number 3, I would say was my freshman year when our team won our first ever state duels match. That was monumental because we've always gone to state duels. I've grown up watching everybody go to state duels, but we never won a match there. And just being a part of that moment in our program's history was just awesome to see. And then the second one was winning the 2 titles. Both matches were amazing, electric. It's just kind of crazy to think about that years ago that we couldn't even win a match at states, and now we're back to back. And then finally it's number 1 is winning my state title my sophomore year, becoming the first state champ at Faith Christian, and that was amazing. I loved it, every second of it. And then I went right back to the mat and watched Adam win his title, and that was really cool. And he ran over, gave us all a hug. We'll never forget about that moment.
We'll go to Mark.
Yeah, my top 5, no specific order, but the first one I would say is the state titles we won as a team. Those were great moments. It was great to be able to share that with each other and just be grateful for, all the success we've had. And then next would be third at Fargo over the past summer. That was really fun, and like like Adam said, like our whole team almost was there. It felt like it was just another faith, match or something, or tournament. And it was just cool, like going and watching other guys wrestle and having them all cheer me on in my third place match. I could hear them screaming from the crowd. So That was really fun. And then in Ironman in the Conti round of 8, I think, I'm not sure. I wrestled a guy, Spencer Lanazga, who had beat me twice prior in the preseason. And I was kind of like, oh, I don't know if I can do it or whatever. And then like it's triple OT and I get the escape and like the whole team is in the corner like celebrating, like, yeah, let's go. So that was like a really big moment for me. And I ended up getting 6th there. And then the trials this past year, or like couple last month, I got 3rd there, which was pretty cool. I was hoping for 1st, but I wrestled hard on the backside there, and it ended up pretty well for me. And then states getting 3rd after all the tough times from last year after not placing was really just it felt good. It felt like my hard work had been paying off because like you can compete well at the other tournaments, but the Giant Center is just a different environment. It means so much. So felt good to take 3rd there. And then last would probably be Super 32. I had a really good tournament, knocked off some big names.
For sure, man. And then we'll pass it over to Coach Clymer. What are your top 5 wrestling moments?
I just to Mark, did you usually lose to Pitzer like in years past, or has it been a back and forth sort of?
So I'm like 0 for 6 against him.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Mark beat a kid who's really talented and he's a great kid. Is it Dylan Pitzer? Or
Yes.
Yeah, Dylan. That's who he had for 3rd and 4th at states. And I don't like always know like the backstory to these guys' matches. Like I do enough to look at a little bit of the kid's technique, but I usually don't know like all the dirt on some kid or what the history is. So I was hearing from Mark's dad and some other people that he didn't have a very good record against Pitzer, and you would not have known it the way this kid dominated him for the 3rd and 4th place match. So that yeah, that was a big highlight, man. That was sweet to watch. My top 5, I couldn't imagine if I had to go first in this because I'm going last. I've got plenty of time to think, and I still don't really know. I say like me personally, winning a state title was awesome. I think what I remember most about that was just being down on the floor with my family and teammates and stuff, celebrating afterwards. Like it's just a lot of hard work, a lot of sacrifice by a lot of people goes into those moments. So that was sweet. I would say getting to compete in Philly at the Wells Fargo Center for NCAAs. That probably would have been my junior year. Maybe it was my senior year. I forget. It was my junior year. Senior year was out in St. Louis. So that was fun, kind of being back on the home turf, doing that. I would echo Gage's sentiment. Like actually, when we won one match out of team states, oh my goodness, who did we beat? West Perry? Or did we lose to West Perry? We beat
It was
Sagertown.
Burl. Or
No.
It was Segretown. It was Segretown.
Yeah, or Burgettstown. That's who it was. Burgettstown. Blue team. That was a big moment, man. Like I was so proud of all the teams and kids like Max Schultz that we've had like to help start this program. But like I love the Giant Center and Hershey like so much, just like these guys are talking about. It is like a home away from home, and it's a sacred place. And so as proud as I was of the teams that we've had, it just bothered me so bad when we were like out there and not very successful. So to win that first match, it did feel like, yo, we've got guys in the junior high program that are killers, and we just broke through a little bit of this ceiling that we've had. You could tell that the wave was coming, man. So it was that was a really cool moment. Obviously, the state titles this past year beating Bishop McCourt. That match has been a long time coming. There'll be more of those matches with that team. They're crazy talented. And honestly, it was like a duel that on paper probably could have been very close and gone either way. And it just seemed like, man, we got the coin flip and we got like every close match. Like the guys they peaked at the right time, at the right place. And that was a spectacle to watch. For us to beat them 46-18 or whatever the score was, like that's tough, man. That's pretty awesome. But I would say it's not like a single moment, but like my favorite thing wrestling, even all time, is now currently when we get to go on trips together, Derek, like just being at the hotel, like going for food, like you talk about the Giant Center, being in the back hallways, just listen to a little music or just talking a little bit before big matches come up, like just having fun, hanging out, soaking in those moments, thanking security guards, like stuff like that that you mentioned, like I just love that so much, man. It's an awesome thing to be a part of, and all time, that's probably where my mind goes right now. Where we're at, these moments we're getting to enjoy. This is a fun time.
For sure. And we'll talk a little bit about with Coach Clymer and whoever wants to jump in. Your team just keeps getting better. This year, you guys bring up, a freshman to wrestle 106 for you. Joey B, ranked number 1 in the country now. What has having him on the team kind of been like for you and adding another nationally ranked hammer through your lineup?
Yeah, Joe's not bad. He's pretty good. He's
Not bad.
so much fun to watch, man. Everybody knows how talented Joe is, and he's been very talented. Again, like I would point very quickly, just like with these guys, like their parents, Joe's parents, like he's got a lot of siblings. His dad is intense, and like they've sacrificed for a long time to get as good as they have. So like that's who should get any praise for Joe. But it has been really neat to see his maturity, like with all the pressure that he has at anywhere he competes. Man, he just had a smile on his face the whole time. Like at practice, he grinds and he's nonstop and he enjoys it and he's very coachable. Like, and that translated to states and whatever platforms he was on, Iron Man, Beast, and yeah, he was a lot of fun. And like just like these guys, like they have done in recent years to the program, like obviously they're very talented, but you cannot quantify like what it takes, like walking into a match knowing Mark is your heavyweight, walking into a match knowing Gage or Adam, like these guys are in your lineup, these guys are your teammates. It adds some confidence, man. It like turns your own match knowing you're walking next to these guys. And Joe has done that for our team too. Like a lot of matches starting at 106. The state championship against McCourt started at 106. Like starting off with Joe is a pretty sweet place to be. Like yeah.
I mean, I think honestly with your team, you could start anywhere and there's going to be fireworks going off. I mean, just saying you're the best team in the state of Pennsylvania. So we'll go with that. And I'll leave this next one open for anybody. So over the last couple of years, we've seen your schedule get a little bit harder and a little bit harder as the teams have gotten better. What has that kind of been like for all you guys wrestling at these big national tournaments? And now this year you got to wrestle the number 1 team in the country, Wyoming Seminary. I don't know, you guys fell short. You didn't, I'm sure, have the exact lineup you wanted to going into that dual meet. So what was that kind of like for you now being able to wrestle at the highest level tournaments in the country?
I'll take this one.
All right.
I'd say it's amazing. We work so hard in and outside the room with our diets, and we're working out outside. We're working hard in here. We're grinding. We're doing preseason sprints outside, carrying logs, all this stuff, and just all this hard work to wrestle and compete with these like very talented guys and also hardworking guys it's just amazing, honestly. And I think we all love this sport of wrestling, and we all want to be the best possible versions of ourselves that we can. So wrestling at these harder tournaments is amazing.
I would say it's definitely eye-opening because, like, during the PIAA season, sometimes it can get to your head a little bit. You can think, like, you're the best dude and you can walk around like that. But then when you go to a tournament like Ironman, you can get humbled really quickly, and that can stay with you throughout the season. And it's a very cool opportunity to be able to wrestle at these top level tournaments with the top level guys, just to prove that we are on that level.
All right, and then we'll do the same thing up and down from Adam to Coach Clymer. If you could wrestle one match against anybody, any from the past, any wrestler, who would it be?
Can Coach Clymer start this time and go the
Sure.
other
Yeah,
way?
yeah. We'll do it that way. Yeah, we'll start with Coach Clymer. Start with Coach Clymer.
Oh my goodness. If I could wrestle one match with anybody, oh, I mean, Kale Sanderson comes to mind. Like, I obviously have like such a respect for him, his program, what he stands for, all that stuff. But like, I don't know how much I really like. That's my answer, but I don't really know how much I want to wrestle. I'm like, I wouldn't.
And we'll add something to it. What's the score prediction?
What do we wrestle at a 2-2-2?
Yeah,
6-minute match?
2-2-2, 6-minute match. Yeah.
He probably ankle picks me to win 5-4 at the end. You know, my feet just got a little heavy. These guys,
Okay.
these guys,
Sure.
these guys.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah, let's
Mark, what
go with
about
that.
you?
All right, so I'd probably say prime Coach Ben because right now he's little like, he's getting past his prime a little bit, but like back in his top of his best wrestling, I'd like to see how that match would go. And it'd probably go my way, like 8-3 or something. He might get like a couple escapes, but it'd be close.
I fend off the major.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, Gage, what about you?
It is a big question. I would say personally, like Spencer Lee in high school. When he was in high school, he was obviously very good and very competitive. And I just feel like I can compete with anybody. And I would love to just either if I'm getting beat up, it's whatever. If you keep it close, it's good. And I can possibly beat him. You can never doubt it, honestly.
Yeah,
I don't know what the score of
that
that
would be
would be.
that would be a cool match. That would
That'd
be
be an
really
awesome.
interesting to see for sure. Adam, what about you?
So I would probably have to go with Bo Nickel. He was my favorite wrestler. He always let it fly. That match against Ohio State in the NCAA finals when he got that pin. Like, I really looked up to that dude a lot with like especially how I wrestle. Even in the state finals, I let it fly. I would love to wrestle a match against him. I actually got the opportunity to wrestle with him this last weekend at the Olympic team camp, and I'll tell you what, it wasn't very pretty. He sort of had his way, but I think either way it's going to be a pin. We're both going to let it fly, and it'll be
Somebody's getting pinned.
what?
So I said somebody's gonna get pinned.
Somebody's getting pinned.
Awesome. And that's awesome. And we've been able to talk to Bo and stuff like that. And super good dude. Comes from a great family, like Ben keeps saying, all you guys. So I mean that's it he's a great dude. So I think we'll kind of move on to we'll get into a little bit of some fun stuff here and kind of get to know everybody a little bit more. So we'll do the same thing. We'll start with Coach Clymer, end with Adam. And of course, we're heavyweight nation, so we have to ask a food question. What's the go-to post weigh-in meal?
Oh my goodness.
I mean, for me, when I was competing, like it wasn't good. Like I was not nutritionally savvy. Like honestly, like in the morning of tournaments, we would have like bagels. So I would either put like some strawberry cream cheese on everything bagel. As the day went on, I put like some turkey on that. But a lot of times, like throughout the tournament, or if it was just like a single dual meat in the evening, like a half a Snickers bar and a couple swigs of Mountain Dew. Like I usually, I'm telling you, man, like I just needed a jolt. You know what I mean? My senior year in high school, I cut a lot of weight. In college, like I wasn't always very disciplined. So it's not like I was cutting a ton of weight comparative to a lot of my teammates, but I usually like found a way to be up late the night before having to cut weight. And so when I got done that way in, or as the tournament kind of seemed long, like that was my thing. Like yeah. It wasn't good. Don't mimic that. And
Yeah.
also I'm going to video me and Mark wrestling in the very near future and send it to you.
Oh,
Just
perfect.
like Mark's match against Coach Ben in his prime, like Mark's match against Coach Ben now is not going well for him. All right.
Perfect. Yeah, we actually are bringing back our segment of Takedown Tuesday where we'll take fan submissions and we'll edit them up and we'll post them every Tuesday. So we're looking forward to seeing a Coach Clymer and Mark match for Takedown Tuesday.
Perfect.
All right, so for me, I don't cut anyway. As you said earlier, I'm a little bit of like far away from the max of 285. But before the tournament in the morning, I would say I have two. If it's at the hotel, I'm probably gonna have like two bagels and some cereal. Hopefully it's Fruit Loops. And then if I'm at Wawa, I'm gonna get a Sizzly in a rain.
We're working on the energy drinks there. Like,
Listen,
these
I
guys
would say
like that. Like, we are working on it.
like we like out of everybody I've talked to, and we filmed, well over getting close to 300 episodes of the podcast now. I would
Nice.
say energy drinks are one of the worst things like that people say. Everybody drinks energy drinks. Every wrestler we've spoken to is on the energy drinks. All the SEM guys are really bad because they live on the campus and it's right across the street from like a Walgreens and a CVS. I think they keep the Walgreens in business down there by SEM because they're there every day.
No
So
good.
we'll move down to Gage.
So it depends on like what time of the tournament it is. Like if it's a dual meet, then I'll eat more. But if it's like a 2-day weigh-in, since I have to cut weight and Coach Ben didn't have to cut weight and Mark doesn't have to cut weight, so I usually just go bagel with peanut butter and honey, and then I'll just munch on some fruit and some water, and I'll indulge in a little energy drink here and there. Um, but honestly, it's like the same thing for if it's a 1-day weigh-in or my last weigh-in, and I just eat more and drink more water and whatnot.
All right, Adam, go for it.
So I'm sort of here with Coach Ben. I'm not the cleanest eater out of them all. But I do have a thing for Wawa pretzels. Do you know like the Wawa pretzel pack you can get?
Mhm.
I get that, the double pretzel pack, and
Sure.
then I get peanut butter M&Ms and a Powerade, and then also like an energy drink like a Rain. So that's usually my go-to. But then I remember at BC's my freshman year, uh, it was right before my third place match, and I saw Coach Ben walking around with a McFlurry from McDonald's, and I was like, Coach Ben, you got to give me a bite of that McFlurry, or I'm not gonna win my third place match. And he came through, gave me a bite, and I got the win. So it was a big time play by Coach Ben.
Big time play by Coach Ben, the McFlurry.
The flourish for the win. I don't remember eating that too, by the way. I might have been holding it for somebody. Holding it.
All right. So if anybody has ever been to a Faith Christian dual meet and you've seen, guys come off the mat after a win, what's with the funny hat?
What's the funny?
The fireman hat?
Yeah. What's with the hat? I feel like every time I've seen you guys wrestle, somebody's putting a hat on after the match.
I may be missing this. Go ahead. You got to speak to this.
I think I started this my freshman year. I found a funny little cowboy hat in the back of Leo Musica's truck. So I just brought it into the duel and I threw it on after anytime someone got a pin, I was like, yo, you're wearing this hat. And they're like, I'm not wearing this hat though. And I think it just evolved since then. I believe Henry Thompson got the fireman's hat.
So my 8th grade year, our team was crazy good. We had like Freddie Bachman, Joe Bachman, Kale, a bunch of really tough dudes, and we were called the Wrecking Crew. They made like a T-shirt for it, and then the head of our school got us this fireman's hat for after like a pin, like you would just put it on, and that was the origin of the fireman's hat. Was in 8th grade. Our middle school team was pretty good, and we would just wear that after a pin. So
For sure. So I'm going to ask this question to anybody who feels like they want to answer. I'm assuming it might be Coach Clymer, but you've had a couple of guys this year announce that they're going to depart from the Faith Christian team. What has that kind of been like for you, and how do you guys plan on filling that lineup? Is it just kind of that next guy up mentality?
Go ahead. Does anybody else want to answer? Or do you want me to go?
You got it, Coach.
you got that one.
Okay. It's been hard. If I be honest, like I love the guys that we have on the team. Like the wrestling is a huge part of what makes us all tick. Like the opportunity to compete, kind of like Adam was saying, like we all just friggin' love it. But like the relational side of things, like I love these guys. I love the time we get together. So as guys leave the program, it happened last year. It happened. It is happening, this year heading into next year. Some guys are gonna be at the Hill School. It's Cole Arment and Kale. I believe Connor Gillihan, one of our freshmen, might be going to Becca. And so it's a learning. It's just a learning phase for me. Like the program is very talented, and guys are very talented, and they have a lot of opportunities. For some of these guys, it might be like going out to college a year early. It might be another school that now that they're very elite, offers like a little bit of an academic prestige, kind of like the Hill School does. Like, it's where these guys have positioned themselves. They are very talented, and they have a lot of opportunities. And so at the end of the day, like they have to make decisions based on what's best for them and their families, and how they want to maybe pivot from year to year. And even though that stinks for me, it sends the program into a little bit of a roller coaster ride. Like it's just part of it. You look at the rest of the nation, this stuff happens, and you look at the college scene, like this stuff happens. Sahakian just decommitted from Arizona State and is going to Michigan. Like there's just this stuff happens all the time. And so it stinks. We're going to miss those guys dearly. They're part of the fabric of this program, and they're amazing kids. They're amazing families. Coach Matt Widemore, Kale's dad, has been coaching with us for 6 years. Like, so it hurts on a lot of fronts, but at the same time, we're very proud of those guys. And as things still stand, like our lineup's going to be very talented, and the next man up will be very good. So yeah, man.
Awesome. All right, so we talked about post-weigh-in meals. Now we gotta know what the cheat meals looking like. I'm sure I know. We talked a little bit about some the nutrition's not the best at Faith Christian. Coach Comer, you got to get on that a little bit. Just it's okay though. It's all right. So we'll start this time. We'll start with Adam and work our way up. It's the summer. You wrestled your last off-season competition. You're gonna indulge a little bit. What's that like for you guys?
Yeah, I've gotten pretty big this off season, and I love Cool Ranch Doritos. It's probably my favorite snack. I'm not proud of it, but I do like McDonald's a good amount, so I'll be at McDonald's sometimes. But I'll pass it off to Gage.
Me, so I eat like the same things, no matter if it's in season or out of season. I usually eat the same breakfast and lunch, but out of season, my dinners they get pretty wild because my mom can cook up. She can cook some good food up. My favorite from her is her pasta and her chicken parm. Amazing. She has the best sauce ever. Usually, I do like to eat wings a lot and pizza.
B-dubs.
Oh yeah, B-dubs. B-dubs is very good. We'll get the team together sometimes and go to B-dubs in the off season. But I'll just eat whatever is handed in front of me. I'll eat it, honestly.
I feel like out of everybody here, Mark is up next, and he's the heavyweight that could step on the scale with a sandwich and still be 15, 20 pounds under. So I feel like, what's that kind of like for you in the off season? You enjoy yourself a little bit?
Well, so I'm enjoying myself most of the season, but so for the trials, so I walk around at like 260, and I had to cut down to 242, the weight was. So that was I had to get down 20 pounds, made the weight, it was all good. And probably for the first 3 days in a row I got home, I had a cheesesteak.
Three cheesesteaks in a row.
And Mark lives like closer to Philly, so the cheesesteak he's getting is like Philly cheesesteak. He's in a hotbed down there. So
that was your post. And what was that like for you? Not never having to cut weight, and then now this was your first time you really had to get down there, with a pretty substantial weight cut. With a 20-pound weight cut's no joke.
Well, it really wasn't much of a cut for me because I just dieted, and like I didn't, I'm normally I'll eat everything in front of me, so I'll just no snacks, and then I was 248 maybe the week of, and I just like, threw some sweats on and ran, and then the weight was fine. It wasn't really that like draining of a cut for me. It was not much of a cut.
Coach Clymer, what was your best cheat meal of all time? And you being a college wrestler, I'm sure there was one night where you could remember.
Yeah, there's a couple nights I can't remember too. There's a place on campus. This is Long Island speaking, where I went at Hofstra, called Napolini's, and it's just like a pizza place. I'm not even like a buffalo chicken guy, but I'm telling you, the buffalo chicken pizza at Napolini's, they had. I'm not a blue cheese guy either, but they had blue cheese drizzled on the pizza, and it was. I swear it was more of like a blue cheese ranch mix, because I don't like the taste of blue cheese, but I love theirs. Um, Drizzled right on the pizza. I get a little cup on the side so I could dunk the pizza in it as well. And yeah, man, buffalo chicken slice from Naps. Can't beat it. And even now, like, I eat pretty well. But like my cheat meals, when we go to Long Island to visit my wife's family, like their bagels, their delis, like yeah, it's all awesome. You got like fries and stuff in the sandwich, like you can't beat it.
There we go. There we go. So we'll ask the same thing, same situation. This time we'll start with Coach Clymer and end with Adam. What is your go-to warm-up song? You got the headphones on, you're getting ready for the match. What's the go-to warm-up song?
Oh man. I would say the when I went to Hofstra, like I thought I was a gangster. So I would listen to a lot of rap. And If I Can't by 50 Cent was a song that I ran out to at Hofstra. If I Can't by 50 Cent. And now almost a dozen years later, like I listen to more worship music. But so it's some blend of like a Red Hot Chili Pepper song or some Hillsong worship. It's such a mixed bag for me. Like I love music. We have a Coach Hans, and this guy's just like a music buff too. Like it, there could be a rap song on, there could be a Christian song on, there could be something more like vibing summertime, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I just kind of love the sound of any of it. So I know that's not a very direct answer, but you're asking a tough question for me. I've been in a lot of different phases. Yeah.
So for me, I would say it depends on the mood of what I'm in. So like sometimes, if I need to like brighten it up a little bit, I'll throw on Lights by Ellie Goulding, which is a really good song that I'll crank. And then uh it'll probably be a Drake song if I'm like in the hype up mode, like trying to be all serious. I'll probably throw on like Believe Me by Drake and Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne still producing music?
Yeah, it's an old song.
All right, yeah.
For me, I'm usually like very energetic on the sidelines. So when I put on the headphones and it's like, yo, you need to lock in right now, I'll throw on some Tupac, and really lock in.
The all-time Philly hype up song, "Dreams and Nightmares" by Meek Mill. It's a good one. It gets me going for sure. Can definitely bring the energy when I need it. So that's a good one.
For sure, man. That's been a hype up song for a long time now. You were
Yeah.
what, probably in 7th, 8th grade when that came out?
Yeah,
Younger,
I've been
maybe.
listening to it ever since. I remember I used to play football back at Pottsgrove, and that would be like they have a speaker in the bus, and I would just be blasting. It was great.
For sure. For sure. And then we'll tail back. We'll start with Adam and go up. What's your favorite walkout song? You're wrestling at States, you're walking out under the lights. What song is gonna play?
Oh, I don't know. That's a really tough question.
I'll take the start.
Okay, go ahead.
Rooster by Alice in Chains.
That's a good one.
That was our run out song in high school. Like I just heard it like working the other day, came on the radio, and it's a classic, man. Brings back good memories.
So I guess it's me now. I would say with the music, it's like sometimes the words get all messed up and stuff. So I really like how we do it at Faith. When we walk out, we play "Go in the Distance," and that's just like it's rocky, it's cool, and it's like it just gets me hyped up.
Nice.
Me, if I could choose any song to walk out to, I would have to do it the old Sammy Sasso style and just put on some Still Dre by Dr. Dre. I remember when he wrestled at Who's Number One, and he put on that song for when he walked out, and then he pinned. I forget who he was wrestling. He pinned someone at Who's Number One though. That was awesome.
This year we adapted sort of a different walkout song for a couple of our matches. It was "Run This Town" by Rihanna, and I thought that was a really good walkout song, and I really liked that one. It was pretty good.
It's a good one. That's a really good one. It's a really good one.
We're hosting Wyoming Sem next year for a duel. You come down, and we'll have you DJ that song for us running out.
That would be fun. That would be fun for sure. My peak high school, Derek the Heavyweight walked out to the Big Show's WWE entrance music, and I think we'd love to see Mark walk out to the Big Show's entrance music. It's got to be when they pick the sticks and Mark's going last. Close out the duel. You just hit the lights and just the Big Show theme song comes on. And Mark, you don't run out, you walk.
Nice.
Slow walk to the mat for sure. For sure.
I feel like what you're getting at is like we have like a run out song that the team comes out to, but we should, if we can get like enough of a, group behind the effort, we should have individual run out songs.
Wait, you guys don't have individual ones?
No,
Just
No.
a team.
Oh, see, I was going on the fact that you had individual ones because that's what we did in high school. Everybody had their own.
Mm-hmm.
Derek, you're making me look bad now. You understand what's going on right now, right?
yeah, Coach Ben, you got to get
You
on
guys
that.
are like, okay, coach is dropping the ball on another thing. Like, add
Yeah,
it to the
it's not that bad. You just put it. You figure out what the weight class is, who's starting, who's going to close out, and you just put the songs in a playlist.
There
And
you
then
go.
you just cue the playlist up.
We're gonna have to start that effort this summer because like it's just not my forte. Like I'm not even saying that's an IT thing, but
Yeah.
I'm just, like that's not my role. So I got to make
Agreed.
sure somebody else, maybe Coach Hans. We'll throw another thing on him. He has the most pass out of anyone, but he loves the music. We'll get him on that effort. Yeah, individual run out songs. That's compliment to Derek Noor, baby.
For sure. So, final question for you guys. We'll end it off with the podcast now. Every single episode since I've started here at Heavyweight Nation, I've asked this question as a closer. Some feelings might get hurt. I'm just gonna put it out there. We'll start with Mark this time. Start with Mark, and then I'll call you out one by one. Mark, you take 3 of your Faith Christian Academy teammates with you into the zombie apocalypse. Who would it be and why? And I'll let you sit on that for a second to think, and then we'll pick it back up whenever you're ready.
All right, so nothing against any of the guys. First, we're gonna take Joe because he eats like a bird and he can go miles and miles. So he'd be best help. Dang, this is a tough one. I would say Adam's pretty fierce, so he'll help with the taking out of the zombies pretty well. And I only get one more, right?
Yep, one more.
I'll go with Jay Singer. He can help hold down the fort too. We'll take a lot of zombies out, and then Joe can go be retrieving whatever we need to get to.
All right, and then with that group, how long do you think you'd last?
Ooh, we'll probably go like till the apocalypse is over. We'll probably take over the world and just be fine.
Let's hope Joe Bachman can run across the ocean. Sounds good. All right, we'll go with Adam next. Go ahead, Adam.
All right, so first I'm gonna need the power. I'm gonna need give me Mark. There might be a little bit of clashing in what we do between me and him because we're both very in our head we both like decide what we want to do and then we have to find like a medium. So me and him would definitely clash a little bit, but we need the manpower. Second, I want Max Stein. Max Stein, very tactical. He's great at video games and all that type of stuff. I'm sure he would have a plan, and he would be definitely a good asset to have. And then, lastly, I'd want Josh Schneider. You know Josh Schneider?
Mm-mm.
That's good.
So he's one of our JV guys. He's pretty good at archery and stuff like that. So he'll be my last dude. He's
And
pretty.
how long do you think that crew would last? You think you're making the distance?
Honestly, we're probably going out within 24 hours.
Because I was gonna say, here's the thing: is you picked yourself and you picked Mark. Immediately, you got to feed both of you. So you got to figure that out. Like Mark picked Joey, which was okay. You picked the 106-pounder. It's a pretty good idea, you know.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think so. Mark obviously understands what it's like to go without food after that cut for the World Team Trials. So he'll be able to last for a while without eating.
Those you guys can eat 'em.
Yeah, and then
Hold on, did Gage just chime in and say, "Plus, you guys can eat him"?
yeah.
Gotta do what it takes, man.
Last resort, that's what's gonna have to come to.
Last resort.
But yeah, I thought it's a pretty good squad. I don't know how long we'd make it though. We'd have to find out.
All right, Coach Clymer. You can take. We'll switch it up for you. You can take 3 of your guys, 3 of your athletes with you. Who you taking?
One of the people I was going to choose was another coach.
That's fine. No, you can add him. Yeah, we'll take that. Go ahead.
And then one other thing would be, is it this upcoming, like next year's freshman class included?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we'll do next year's lineup.
I would take RP, Coach RP. He's just a savage. Like he's just a savage. Like if you need him to shoot something, he hunts, he can get it done. Like he could do without anything for a week. And like he's just shirt off the back sort of dude. Whatever you need, I'm your guy. Let's go get it done. Coach RP is in there with me. Freddie Bachman is going to be a freshman on the team next year, and I don't know if Freddie would be a great. I really don't know if Freddie would be a great call. I'm just saying, when I try to explain Freddie Bachman to people, like you could drop him off in Philly, in New York, and the dude could run a gang. Like he just the mock. I'm thinking somebody like Freddie could just persuade the zombies, like, yo, no, you guys are listening to me now. Get away. I really think Freddie could get that done. So I'm going to go Freddie in there, despite what the crowd is thinking. And then my sleeper pick is going to be Dom Reynolds.
Ooh.
Dom was a starter for us this year as a sophomore. He has a visual impairment, Derek. So he I would say, like, when we're at matches and stuff like that, sometimes you see the guys like staring around, they get a little bit spooked by the big stage or scene. Dom doesn't see well, so he's just pretty much always calm. Like nothing really rattles him. He's not really like a victim of what's going on around him. I feel like Dom would bring me a lot of calm in the zombie apocalypse because he wouldn't see what's going on, man. It's just another day. Like, I'm taking Dom with me. RP, Dom, and Freddie. We're lasting as long as RP will take us, it sounds like.
All right, Gage, go. Go ahead, Gage.
So I got the advantage in these picks because I got to listen to all the great people being discussed. So I'll steal one of Adam's picks. Give me Josh. Very good at archery. He's a very intelligent individual.
Yeah,
I have him in a couple of my classes. Give me Max Stein too. Not just because he's very smart, but also because he doesn't eat a lot and he's very fast.
He's very fast.
And then for my final pick, I don't know.
Need a big guy.
I don't need a big guy. You guys eat too much and you guys are slow.
Or Mark.
I'm sorry, Mark. Like, I'm sorry. You're gonna eat a lot of our food. I could put the dynamic duo together. Give me Anthony Herzog. He's also Josh's friend. So you got that little duo going on there.
Chemistry.
You got team chemistry there. He's also very smart, and he also is very good at archery and knows a lot about outdoor stuff that I think would become useful.
For sure, man. For sure. Sounds
Yep.
like y'all have your minds made up. Everybody hurt Mark's feelings. First, they're gonna eat him. No, I think pretty much everybody that's ever said a heavyweight goes, well, if we're running away from the zombies, you just pop them in the kneecap and they'll be satisfied for a while and just run away. So
You wouldn't have to pop him in the kneecap. They look after like 10 seconds.
All right. So we were supposed to end with that question, but I thought of a few more funny ones for you. So Penn State is known for playing dodgeball as their warm-up game. What is Faith Christian's go-to warm-up game before practice?
Handball.
Handball?
Yeah.
And
We have a new game. So we actually have an Instagram account. It's called KTB 2 times. So it stands for kick the ball in the air 2 times, and then you have to catch it, and then it's pretty much dodgeball rules from there out. And it's a really fun game, very interactive. The guys, we love it. It's
intense.
We play it at lunchtime. We come to the wrestling room and play the game, and we like post clips of it on our Instagram account. It's pretty cool.
That's fire. We'll have to tag the Instagram we'll put it in the description of
KTB 2 times down below.
Yeah, for sure. So one more, and this is kind of directed at Gage, but anybody else who's got this opportunity. So Gage, we see you wearing the Rudis shirt. We know most recently you just were able to get picked up as a Rudis athlete. So what has that kind of been like for you with this new NIL rule that you're allowed to kind of talk to these companies and get the opportunity to, get yourself a couple pairs of wrestling shoes and a nice bag and stuff like that without, cost coming out of your pocket?
I think it's amazing because, like you said, you get all this free stuff. You get the free bag, free gear, free socks, all this stuff, and it's just some Instagram posts. And like, I post twice every 2 months. I post a lot on Instagram because I'm always wrestling, always active about something. So it seems like a no-brainer, and it's just a very good opportunity for kids to get that, I think.
Awesome. So that's dope. That's super cool for sure. And now, Adam and Mark, you guys finished your sophomore years, going into your junior years now, where recruiting is going to be open for you guys. Are you guys excited to hear the phone ring once recruiting opens for you guys?
Yeah, me and him will actually be at Lock Haven together for the junior duels camp prior to the tournament. So we'll be getting those calls together, same room. Well, we're roommates, so it's gonna be super cool. I know I've been up to like a bunch of like I was up at Rutgers a couple weeks ago, and I was talking to a bunch of coaches this last week, and I'm very excited for the time to come.
Awesome, man. Awesome. And then we'll leave it out with Coach Clymer. Coach Clymer, give us a few words for the young wrestlers out there watching this that want to compete at the high level like you guys compete at, winning multiple state titles and hopefully continuing the legacy. What do you got to say to the kids, Coach Clymer?
Dude, my biggest thing, and these guys probably already know what I'm going to say, but like Christ is first and foremost. I'm not saying like every kid that is in our program is like attending church every Sunday and is this perfect kid. Like I would probably the opposite, but we invest a ton of time into trying to memorize God's word and tangibly put that into practice, with things that you're saying. Like when we go to the matches, yeah, we hate to lose. We love to compete. This is our time to wrestle and do those things. But it's also a time that God's provided us this opportunity. We're not on a chemo treatment. We're not, let's be grateful for these moments, and let's represent Christ's will and be grateful and be humble. And so I would just say, like, man, if you can prioritize Christ as the most powerful thing, as the main priority in your life, you will see that illuminate your endeavors, like wrestling or after wrestling, like being a college student, being a husband, being a father, being a worker. Like too many people prioritize wrestling or prioritize work or prioritize making money. And those things are awesome. But when they're your main thing, you're going to find that it's not stable. It's not a solid foundation like having a relationship with Christ is. So it's been so neat. We've gotten to rub shoulders with a lot of like college coaches and elite athletes that are world team members and different stuff. And it's such a neat thing to be a part of a sport where like almost unanimously those guys are saying the same thing. Like God's the most important thing to them, and the relationship with him is what they try to work hardest at. And so it's been neat to be able to learn from those guys. And that's what I would say, man. If you want to be elite in wrestling, it's really important who you're surrounding yourself with. And these guys know that they whether it's here in this room or at other clubs or what they do in the off season, like they're constantly trying to surround themselves with other guys and other coaches that are hungry. And that's a key ingredient too. So Christ first, surround yourself with hungry people, and a lot of things are going to work out for you, man.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you to Coach Clymer, Mark, Gage, Adam. We look forward to watching you guys next season. And it's been another episode of the Heavyweight Nation podcast. We'll see you guys later.